When I was a young teenager, I was getting no views, had no money, had no equipment. And so for the most part, it was just like, I was just trying to scrounge money so I could buy equipment because I was using my brother's old laptop. And so like my first couple hundred videos, I didn't have a microphone. Like imagine just like crackly, terrible voice. And so once I got monetized, I saved up for a few months. Like I told you, I bought a microphone. I can just give you a mile high history. And I saved up for like 6 months. I mean, I was just doing video game videos and they were terrible, but I saved up. I got a real computer. So now I can actually record the video game in high quality. I have a microphone. I'm like 15 and I just kept going and going. Very first video, weirdly enough, I played this stupid game and some hacker like killed my base when I was 11. And so I uploaded it and my first video got 20,000 views like instantly because it was like all the people that played the game was like, oh shit, you can hack in this game. It's a game called Battle Card. And that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me because then I was hooked from day one. Literally, like most people, it takes hundreds of videos before you get like one view. And somehow the very first video I uploaded at 11 got like 20,000 views. And then I was just like, oh, I fell in love and I've been hooked ever since. Essentially, up until 18, I had been doing YouTube pretty religiously, but I was making no money. Like this is kind of the turning point was when I graduated from high school. And my whole life, I was like, I want to be making enough money by the time I graduated to do this full time. And I wasn't. I was still only making a couple $100 a month. So what I did was I would act like I was going to community college, but I would just work on videos in my car and edit. And that was kind of when I was just like 15 hours a day, all in. I was like, I'm fucked if this doesn't work. And I had some videos pop off. I couldn't tell you which ones, but I had a month where I made 20 grand because I just had some videos just do really, really well. And then I came home and I was like, yeah, I haven't been going to college, and I moved out the next day. My mom almost had a heart attack because she doesn't understand YouTube or anything back then. And she was like, man, this guy's gonna work at McDonald's. I wasted all this time. Like I invested 18 years and this is what I get. Well, and you take it a step further because I thought, especially if you're like extremely passionate about something at a young age, where most kids are, then it's more exacerbated that it's like, you know, I didn't talk to anyone. I hardly had any friends because I was so obsessed with YouTube. As back then, just no one cared. So it's like, I thought I was just like, just didn't even know how to speak. Like literally, I just couldn't hold a conversation with a single person because people would just tell me all you talk about is YouTube. And I would try to talk about something else. But back then I was so hyper obsessed that I literally just didn't know how to. Most of my growth came actually after I graduated high school. Basically what I did was I somehow found these other like 4 lunatics. 3 of us were college dropouts, one was a high school dropout, and one, I don't know, he just like quit his job. We were all super small YouTubers, and we basically talked every day for 1,000 days in a row and did nothing but just like hyper study, like what makes a good video, what makes a good thumbnail, what's good pacing, like how to go viral. And we would just call it like daily masterminds. We would just get on Skype every morning, and like some days like I'd get on Skype at 7 a.m. and I'd be in the call until like 10 p.m. and then I'd go to bed and I'd wake up and I'd do it again. And you know, we'd do things like just take 1,000 thumbnails and see if like there's a correlation to the brightness of the thumbnail to how many views it got, or like, you know, like videos that get over 10 million views is like how often do they cut the camera angles, or like things like that. We were very religious about it, and so that's where most of my knowledge came from. Is I just surround myself with these lunatics, and just every day, like we didn't do anything. We had no life. It's crazy because it's like if you envision a world where you're trying to be great at something, and it's just like you mess up, you learn from your mistake, you mess up, you learn from your mistake. You in 2 years, you know, might have learned from 20 mistakes. Or if you have like 4 other people who are also messing up, and when they learn from their mistake, they teach you what they learn. Stuff like that. Hypothetically, you 2 years down the road have learned like 5 times more of the amount of stuff. So it just like helps you grow exponentially way quicker. We're talking like every day, all day, like literally nothing. We had no friends outside of the group. That was your life. Do our videos in other languages as well, because you know, if you Google it, it's like only less than 10% of the world speaks English, so 90% of the world can't even enjoy your content. And when I realized that, I was like, wait a minute, 90% of the world can't even watch this stuff. And the final point is, in Spanish, the guy who does my dubs is the same guy who dubs Spider-Man. So a lot of those comments are like, why does he sound like Spider-Man, or is Mr. B Spider-Man?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and so what we do is when we go into these markets, we get celebrities to do my voice. So then like the local people in the language freak out. So like Japan's coming up, and I can't say who, but we secured like a giant voice actor from an anime to do my dubs. And whenever we launch in Japan, I know they're gonna lose their freaking minds. I think I just had the blessing of finding what I loved at a young age. So like, because to get to this level, it takes a decade. Most people don't find what they love till their young 20s, so they'd be where I'm at in their 30s. I just lucked out and found it when I was really young. Living your life chasing like a nicer and nicer car and a bigger and bigger box to live in is kind of like a dumb way to go about life. Yeah. So I actually, funny enough, I lived in like a super below average home, and I kind of learned why famous people don't live in below average homes, because someone broke in, stole everything I owned. So I had to get a little nicer house for security reasons. But before I was robbed, I mean, like my place is like a little duplex, $700 a month. You get a roommate's 360 split.
Right.
Yeah, and just drive a normal car.